Biking, when you're soaring down a steep cliff at 50 miles an hour, regulating your center of gravity, using permanence of memory to scan the trail ahead of you, having the right equipment. But don't forget this most important piece of advice from our downhilling expert. Don't worry, be happy.
Gene Hamilton lives to ride and rides to live.
Big grin on your face, laughing the whole way, catching air, going over rocks. I mean, it's just a good time.
He's a professional mountain bike racer and coach who specializes in the most extreme form of racing, downhilling.
Downhilling is essentially, we usually take a chairlift or drive a shuttle vehicle up to the top of a mountain, and then we come down trails that have been designed for mountain bike racing.
They'll hit speeds of up to 50 miles an hour and angles as steep as 60 degrees.
We're going to hit those one day, Lance.
To demo the techniques and the technology, Gene has recruited a team of experts.
Hi, I'm Chris Canfield with Canfield Brothers Downhill Bikes.
Mason Klebold, and I ride for Specialized Bikes.
I'm Lance from Canfield Brothers Downhill Bikes.
I'm Ryan Cranston, I ride for Specialized Mountain Bikes.
There are core fundamental skills to riding a bike. It's not just who's the craziest or who's the most athletic. You have to have these skills down if you want to get to the top.
But before you can learn the skills, you need the right gear, body armor, and a carbon fiber helmet.
I've taken some pretty hard wrecks where I really thought that it was probably my last ride of my life, and it's taken a big chunk out of my helmet actually, but I got up and was like, wow, that didn't hurt, and I kept on riding that day.
You'll also need about $5,000 for your ride.
These bikes aren't the bikes you get at a department store. I mean, they're heavy duty. These bikes weigh anywhere from 38 to 49 pounds. They also have a lot of interesting features, like they all feature 8 to 9 inches of travel in the front and rear, and that's the really, I mean, look at that bike. That bike will eat up some bumps right there, you know. The fork's got 8 inches of travel also, and that's all just for sucking up bumps, you know. And while we're sucking up those bumps, we need to be able to stop these things because they weigh more and we're going a lot faster. So we have very, very big and powerful disc brakes on these things. You know, these are disc brakes just like you'd have on a car or a motorcycle, just a slightly lighter, scaled down version. So they really give you some stopping power.
Southern Colorado has some of the best downhilling terrain in the world. Stunning vistas, steep cliffs.
Ready to get riding, guys? Let's do it.
As they hit the trail, they follow the first rule of mountain biking. Keep your head up and your eyes forward.
People new to the sport, one big mistake they make is they look too close in front of them, often almost straight down, because they're afraid they're not going to get past those rocks without looking at them.
But just the opposite is true. Expert riders avoid hazards by focusing their eyes well down the trail.
Because what you're going to do is by scanning down the trail, you have a thing called permanence of memory, so your brain remembers where those rocks are, and by looking down the trail, you now have a goal, and you're going to go there, and your peripheral vision will pick up the rocks, and you'll miss the rocks, and you'll be able to ride where you want to.
The key is learning to use landmarks along the trail as points of reference.
For instance, here, as I come around this corner, I know that I'm looking for a dead tree, and when I see that dead tree, I know I'm lined up to where I want to go, versus looking at my front wheel, which you tend to go wherever you look.
The next important skill is cornering. You've got to learn how to adjust your center of gravity as you navigate tight turns.
Now this corner looks like it's bermed, which is a bank that I can use to bank my tires against, but it's really not. It's not very firm. As you can see, it's very soft. So I'm going to think about leaning my bike, but not my body. So I have my center of mass, which is basically my belly button, is going to be over my bottom bracket, which is the spindle connecting my pedals. And by having my center of mass vertically over the bike's not going to want to slide. The bike's going to actually track and hook up and push down, as my friends will demonstrate as they come through this corner. If you watch, see where their hips, look at all their hips, their center of mass is towards me, if you saw that, not leaning into the turn. Had they leaned into the turn, they would have slid out this way.
Of course, slips and slides do happen, even to the pros.
Whoa! I haven't broken too many bones. I've only broken probably 3 or 4, but I've separated both my shoulders. It's a 3rd-degree AC separation. Very, very painful.
Not fun.
Not fun at all.
The worst injuries usually come on the steepest trails. But Gene says riding steeps is much safer once you understand how your bike and your body work together.
A lot of people have been told to get their weight as far back as possible, and that's not necessarily the case. You always want to be centered over your pedals. So that means as the hill gets steeper, you do want to be further back, but you never want to be back so far you're pulling up on the bars like this, because if you're so far back that your wheel's coming off the ground, now you're completely out of control and you can't steer the bike. So you always want to be vertically over the pedals in relation to the hill. So as the hill steepens, you'll get your weight back, and as the hill flattens out a little, you're going to pull your weight forward. So you're always putting all of your weight onto the pedals. My friend Lance Canfield right here is about to demonstrate for us on this great, nice steep hill. See, now his weight's pretty far back because it's pretty steep, and you'll see right now he gets the weight a little more forward, and now it's really forward, and now it's back again on the landing as it steepened and went away from him.
Line of sight, body position, center of gravity. These are just the basic elements of downhilling. If you're inspired to learn more, Gene has one last piece of advice. Be happy.
You can't tell, but right now I'm smiling ear to ear. And just by smiling, I'm releasing endorphins. And endorphins make me relaxed. And by being relaxed, I can ride smoother.
On the trail, smoother means faster. And for these guys, that's what it's all about.
That was so fun.